knowing most of the girls, but not all of them, and just knowing that this school was a Navy school, having spent almost 20 years in the Navy. Besides my love and passion for softball, my love and passion for the Navy was a really big factor this year. I coached high school softball last year over in Wesley Chapel. Something about an hour drive that just intrigues me. I drove an hour to Wesley Chapel back and forth every day. That drive got to be pretty taxing. So I just decided I wasn't going to coach high school softball anymore, and then this opportunity out of the blue presented itself. So, with the girls that I knew, with the talent that I knew that was here, and then really the Navy bond and being able to coach the only girls softball team at a military boarding school or a Navy-specific boarding school in the country was, to me, a special thing as a Chief Petty Officer in the Navy. So, what did we do this year? We broke a ton of records as a team this year. You may have seen my Facebook posts. If we're not on Facebook, then maybe you didn't see them. So I'm just going to go over a couple of the records that these girls broke as an individual season record. Most wins. And we attribute that to the most games played as well, right? I mean, I'm not going to, it's a winning team altogether. We played 4 or 5 more games than this team has ever played in a season, and because of that, we broke the school win record. Most home runs in a season. That last home run in the championship game, we came in and tied, and Alyssa smacked one over the fence there, and that gave us the most home runs, just by 1, but we scored the most home runs. We also broke the record for most home runs in a single game. We did that twice, against Moorhaven and against Bradenton Christian, with 3 in each one of those games. Most plate appearances, most at-bats. We broke the runs scored record by 17 runs. The most amount of hits, we broke that by 22. The most amount of RBIs in a season, we broke that by 4. Extra base hits, most amount of doubles, we broke that by 12. Home runs, we broke by 1. Along with all those hits, you may have seen me do this a lot this season, right? Sometimes this right here was a sign for a home run. And we're 1 for 1 when I give this sign for a home run, right, Sailor? That's right. But that's what I told him, that when I wanted him to bunt, or I gave him a number from the wristband to bunt. So we destroyed the record for most sack bunts in a season. I'm a big small ball guy, and with the control and the speed that we had on this team, they executed those for the most part very well. We lowered our runners left on base by over 40 this season. And very impressively, even with more games in a season, we recorded the least amount of in-game defensive errors that this team has ever put out. So that's just in one season we broke all those individual records. So hats off to you girls for going out there on the field and really we did something that only 2 other schools have ever done in Pinellas County history, and that's go back-to-back in state championships. And I know, everybody, you can read it in the newspaper, everybody talks about getting to the halfway point. At 7-9 at the halfway point, this team was not used to being 7-9 at the halfway point, but I pushed them, put them up against some really, really, really good teams that were also in Vero Beach in 7A, 8A, 9A, put them against the best pitching that they could see, put the pitchers against the best batters that they could see. And man, when we got to the back end of the season, winning 14 out of 15 games and absolutely destroying anything that went in our way, and winning 4 out of the 6 games in the tournament by run rule, all of that really came into focus, and everything that we went through, all those bumps and bruises, really helped us at the end of the season. So congratulations again. I'm going to go through and recognize quite a few people here and give away a couple cool, exciting awards. So the first award that I'm going to give away, they're leadership medals. I have 3 of them. We had 3 team captains this year. So when I got here, I gave the girls the opportunity to vote in their own captains. I allowed them to select 2. The third one, I knew at some point in time throughout the season I was going to appoint, but I wanted that to come out from their play, their performance, their leadership on the field, their leadership off the field, and kind of just see who really had control of the team. And the 2 player-elected captains were Alyssa and Lexi. They were elected by their peers as leaders on and off the field, as people could hold the team accountable through the transition of a new coach. Just about a third of the way into the season, the person that I appointed the captain, because I thought she had extreme control of herself, was a student and an avid player of the game, and really was just a comedical but very serious and calming force on this team. So about a third of the way through the season, I put Christina in the third captain spot, and it was really just a natural selection for me. So girls, if you can come up and get your captain's medals, I would appreciate it. Take the little plastic part off if you want. Sure, no problem.
How do we stand there with them?
Well, we'll do pictures at the end. Let's just do all the pictures at the end. All right. So there's that. There's leadership. All state and all academic. So this was a little bit different for me, a part that I had to learn with a private school, because in Pasco County, you get first team all conference, you get first team all district and all that stuff. Private schools don't do that. You go through the Florida Coaches Athletic Association, and you coaches have to vote for kids that are all state and all academic, I believe, is a 3.5 GPA or better throughout the whole year. So I'm going to call up these girls. We had 4 girls that were put on the 3A All-State team for their on-field performances throughout the year. First one is our only graduating senior, Katia Fay. Second one, and I got some notes here. Just want to talk about Katia for a minute, and I'll go back to this when we go to the. Matter of fact, I'm going to save all these for the all tournament team. We'll just continue on. BB. Lexi. Number 11. Based off stats. I mean, this is majorly what did you do on the field. It's submitted. The 3A coaches throughout the state all voted on it, and those girls were selected from a very good pool of candidates. Now you're all academic, and I'm just going to call them up. And this is these were submitted to me. We put out asking for your GPAs. If we missed somebody, that means that we didn't get the information back. I can always go back and give you this one. So, but everything that was submitted to us, we submitted, and hopefully we caught them all. Melissa Diaz. And if I call your name and your eyes get real big about GPA, we're going to go back and check. Katia Fay. Christina Harley. Bibi. Cody Westbrook. Melissa Ray. And Lyle. Here you go. Did I miss anyone? All right. Yeah, listen, that's just another testament to those girls to be able to play. Some of them play multiple sports all throughout the year. Some of them play travel ball when they're not, playing high school softball. So to be able to maintain the grade point average along with a high level of athletic and academic, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but just be able to keep that at a high level is really, really impressive. So another round of applause for you guys. All right, what else do I got here? So I went out and I went back and I looked at our tournament. How did we do from the Indian Rocks game, district tournament, all the way until the state championship? And I created, this is just something that I went out and did, kind of a 3A all-tournament team. And 5 kids that I thought really needed to be recognized for kind of upping their game throughout the tournament and really ensuring that we secured another state title. So the first person that I got is Christina. Christina batted .706 throughout the playoffs with an on-base percentage of .792. She had 12 hits, 3 doubles, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. She had a team-high 1.588 slugging percentage. She had 1 strikeout in 24 plate appearances, and she had a team-leading 16 runs scored. 13 hits, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs, a team-leading 12 RBIs, and 8 runs scored. Next is BB. BB pitched just about every single out except for one in the playoffs. BB was 6-0 in the playoffs. She only had 7 earned runs in 6 games. She had a 1.37 ERA with 51 strikeouts in 6 games. That's almost 10 per game. All right, next one. Our only graduating senior. She had a 647 batting average. Katya had a 727 on-base percentage. She produced 11 hits, 4 doubles, 5 RBIs, 10 runs scored. Katya played in a hit in the 6th spot most of the year. And right as we got to the state tournament, I said, guess what? You're moving up to the 2 spot. And I made that switch in the lineup, and she handled it. She handled it so well. She had 23 plate appearances in 6 games with 0 strikeouts. All right, finally, last one. I had a 471 batting average with a 524 on-base percentage. She had 8 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and only 1 strikeout in 21 plate appearances. That's our 5-hitter, Haley Saylor. All right, we're down to the last 4. All right. Let me get my notes together. Got it. All right, so I've got 4 more awards. One is your Defensive Player of the Year. One is your Offensive Player of the Year. One is your MVP and Most Valuable Player of the Year, and then a Coach's Award that comes directly from me. So, it's no secret, your offensive MVP had 98 plate appearances. I asked her to play a different role this year. Last year she hit the 4 spot. I asked her, once I figured out, after moving the lineup 50 different times in the first 9 games, I asked her to take control of the leadoff position because she's just the most aggressive kid, not only at the plate, but on the bases, in the field, that I've had the privilege to coach and play in this game, and I've coached a lot of high-powered kids. So throughout the year, she had 98 plate appearances, 36 hits. Half of them, 50%, 18 were extra base hits. She had 9 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs, which led the team. She led the team in RBI. She led the team in scoring. She led the team in on-base percentage and batting average. If there was a statistical category on offense, she certainly led the team, and that is Christina Hartley. Very good. Defensive MVP with no question. I'm sure 100% of us in this room can figure out who that is. She had 124.2 innings pitched in 20 starts. She recorded 17 wins and only 2 losses with 156 strikeouts. She had a 1.57 ERA. She had 44 walks in the first half of the season. 44 walks in the first half of the season. She was driving me crazy, right, as we were getting to know each other. And I don't know if you followed the evolution of pitch calling on the team this year. It started out with me, then they fired me, and it went to the catcher. Then the catcher and the pitcher started doing it. Then I got involved and took it back again. And by the end of the season, I think in the last 12 games, it was a pretty much something I've never done, equal mix between the pitcher, the catcher, and myself. I think a third of the pitches were called by BB herself. A third of the pitches were called by Cheyenne. And then when I wanted something I saw in the battery, those two both went and executed it. So by the end of the season, we figured each other out. And BB cut her walks in half from the first 16 games to the last half of the season by more than 60%. So good for her. In the tournament, she pitched 35.2 innings, had 56 Ks with a 1.37 ERA. Our defensive MVP, BB. All right, just 2 more, and then we get to wrap it up. team MVP, you know, I had a lot of girls that I could pick from in this situation, as especially towards the end of the season. When we got towards the end of the season, and that's why we won so many games, because we were firing on all cylinders. But this young lady for the season had a 474 batting average. She hit .512. She had 37 hits with 23 RBIs, a team-leading 11 doubles. She had 26 runs scored and had the lowest strikeout percentage on the team with just 6 strikeouts on the whole season in 86 plate appearances. She played 8 positions on the field this year, including recording what was almost a save at our only district loss against Bradenton Christian. She caught a concussion behind the plate. She literally went absolutely everywhere I asked her to be. She was a captain on the team. She was a calming force for me at times, nudging me in the stomach, saying their nickname because of the meme that I put in the thing was Big Al, because Big Al hit stingers, and that's what I did in practice. But there was a couple times where, just like her mother, she wasn't afraid to tell me to shut up and get my act together, right? So your team MVP, and I don't think I could have survived the season without her, is none other than Lexi Hernandez. All right, if I make it through this one without crying, it'll be a miracle. I'm gonna try. Anyways, so this one here, this young lady taught me a lot about how to be a better coach. I came in here with my own ideas, my own plans about how I was going to do things, and by the end of the season, most of that stuff I threw out the door, and it had to evolve in order to be able to coach these 15 young girls. I changed a lot of things. I changed lineup, I changed positions, and one person in the beginning of the season took that change pretty tough. And it really affected her in a negative way, and I think for the first 8 games, after hitting almost 500 this year, this young lady didn't even have a single hit throughout the first 8 games. And so I had to change my approach with her, because if there's anything you know about coaching girls, the saying that they say is true, right? A boy has to play good in order to feel good, a girl has to feel good in order to play good. So in the first half of the season, this girl hit .270. Even though she was leading the team in RBIs, she was hitting well below average of what she was capable of. The second half of the season, she turned it on. She hit well over 400, leading the team in that second half of the season, according to statistics and hits. She had 1 K throughout the tournament and hit .471. She accepted everything I threw at her. And by the end of the season, I was able to really understand how she felt. And that's Haley Sabers. Anyways, Haley, I'm very proud of you and the changes that you made. I know you were a starting center fielder all year last year. It's tough when a freshman comes in and gets that spot. So you adapted to left field, and I know I changed your lineup position, and you adapted to that. And you did absolutely everything that I asked you to do, even if it took to the last game and laying it out for a ball in which you got 2, right? So I appreciate you. You made me a better coach this year. All of you girls made me a better person, and I hope in some way, shape, or form, whether it was the softy me or the loud, in your face, this is what we're going to do me. I believe in this game. There's room for both sides of that. I don't think I ever put any of you down or demeaned you, or if I made you feel like this was the end of the world. My goal was to make you better softball players, make you stronger, more powerful, empowered women, because this world is a tough, mean, and scary place, and you need all the tools when you leave here to be able to go handle it in every single way, shape, and form. So hopefully you're just a little bit more prepared to do that, because I know you all prepared me to be a much better softball coach. So next year we have the opportunity to do something that no team in Pinellas County has ever done, and that's go find those 3 peats. Right? And win 3 state championships in a row. So thank you for this year. I hope you all had a great year. Parents, I appreciate you being a quiet but resounding force that I certainly felt outside the fence. And hopefully I did you right by your girls, and I look forward to continuing to teach them and coach them and be a part of your lives. Thank you very much. I do have coins coins, and before we break, I do just want to say one more thing, and that's thank you to Tracy. Tracy, I'll be honest, right? I knew Tracy in passing in travel ball. I knew Cody and Mark just from on the travel ball scene, but I didn't know Tracy that well. You can ask my wife here, I'm very particular on who I let coach with me just because I have a certain way of doing that. But boy, if Tracy, I'd love for you to come play travel ball with me this summer. I couldn't pick a better assistant coach, from the administrative stuff that she handled for me to, I'm sure, the back behind the scenes stuff and being a buffer for me on things that I probably never even knew about. That's all medicine. I'm just emotional for the test. All right. I don't know what we do now. I don't know if we dance or take pictures or do cartwheels, but that's all I got. Oh yeah, eat cake. Oh, eat cake.
If anybody has money that they haven't turned in for dinner tonight, give it to Coach Gomes.
Yes, you did. I can tell. You were teary.